Welcome to Straight Shooting Outdoors. Today we are going to show you how to do a European mount. So I'm already a couple steps ahead here. So you got to take all the fur and skin off the face. So you're basically down to skull here and meat. I've taken the eyeballs out. A little better look. This is the girlfriend's deer she shot you. Their bow. But I've taken the eyeballs out, taken off as much meat as I can with my knife. And same thing with this one. This one's been sitting in the shed a couple days here, but it's time to boil. So this is my setup. I use a big old pot with a tiger torch. You can use almost anything for this. You can use a camping stove outside. Some people even use their stove on the inside. I do not recommend that unless you want to lose your girlfriend or your wife. That'd probably be a good place to start. So outside is always best. This, in my opinion, stinks. So you don't want to stink your whole house up with this process here. So now we're going to put our deer antlers in there. So unless your deer has actual velvet on it, you can't submerge the antlers. But if it's hard horn, go ahead, put that right in there. And I've put a brick underneath the nose of my deer skull. I just don't like the nose directly on the bottom where all the heat is coming from. So we got two to throw in here. So I'm going to kind of just carefully place the second one on the same brick with the nose there. And hopefully it will stay there like that. So now I'm going to crank my tiger torch on here and let her simmer. You don't want it at a high boil. You just kind of want it at a simmer here. If you give it too much heat, it's gonna overcook the bone and it'll crack super easy. Now we wait. So I've also added a little bit of Dawn dish soap in there to cut down on the grease. She's been boiling away for about an hour now, and just check it every so often, see if the meat's coming off, and you might have to scrape a little bit with your knife and whatnot. And just keep going with the process. Now you need to use your knife and clean off what you can. And then after this step, I'm going to take it to the car wash or somewhere that has a pressure washer and pressure wash all this off of here. But don't pressure wash your antlers, it'll take the color away and ruin them. Okay, so now we got our skulls all boiled up, kind of cleaned off. I'm going to take her to the pressure washer now and kind of blast the sinuses out and the brains. So back here I'm not that clean yet. As good as I can get it with a knife, and I'll take a pressure washer to it, get it all cleaned up, and then I'm going to start the bleaching. Okay, so we're back from pressure washing here. This littler one looks actually pretty white already. I might not bleach it. I'll see what the girlfriend wants to do. It's actually pretty white. I personally don't like them too white because then they kind of look fake. But my deer here, he's got some brown to him still there, so I'm definitely going to bleach him now that he's all cleaned up. There's nothing in there. Looking pretty good. So we'll go through the process for that. I'm going to fill my pot back up, get it boiling again, and then add my solution that I use to bleach it. Okay, so here we are. We're going to fill this back up. Now that we're bleaching, do not go above the bases of the antlers. You will bleach the antler bases. I repeat, do not put your water level above the antler bases. You will bleach it. So we're going to fill this back up. In case it was hard to hear me because of the wind, do not fill this up above the antler bases. So yeah, like I said, I filled it up a little too much here. I was inside finding my bleach while sewing it up. Okay, so now I'm about an inch or two below my bases. You might wonder how you get this top part of your skull bleached. I am going to lay these rags over. The bleach will transfer from these rags onto the skull, but make sure you're not on the bases like I said before, or you'll ruin the bases of your antler. Okay, so this is the bleach we're going to be using. It's just some hair stuff. My mom gets it from the hairdresser place, I guess. I'm pretty sure you can get it from Walmart and whatnot as well. So I squirted about a quarter of this in, boil it for about a half an hour with my rags on the skull to get the top of the skull. And after that, I pull it out, see what kind of color I got. If I'm happy with it, then that's all I need. If I need more, I squirt a little more in, boil for a little longer. So here we go. I like to squirt it all around so I don't have to mix. Squirt it on this skull here. Not on the bases. Again, not on the bases. So I did about a quarter, maybe a little more. I'm going to take one of my rags here. Kind of stir it a little bit. Get my rag a little wet. Wrap this around the base as best as I can. Make sure it's touching all of the skull that's still showing, but not the bases. I'm serious. You don't think it bleach your bases that bad, but if you bleach the bases, there's no going back unless you're coloring it or paying somebody to color it, which I think you can always tell if it's colored or not. But just go slow, do it right, and you don't have to worry about that. So I gotta get the back of the skull here yet. Got one little spot right there. Once I'm boiling, you'd be surprised how well the bleach moves up. So I'm also gonna attach, I did a velvet mule deer like this last year, a Euro velvet, and it actually turned out really well, so I'll attach some pictures. Same kind of process, but you need to wrap the velvet in saran wrap and tin foil, and it'll protect it. Like I said, I'll attach some pictures of that. It was pretty neat. So I'm gonna start boiling this now. While this gets going here and starts to boil, you might have to take some water out. It's gonna froth a little bit and boil up. So I got my tin can ready here to take some water out if need be. Now that I got it just to a simmer, I'm gonna shut it off. It's pretty hot. And I'm gonna just dump a little bit of water on the rags to keep water and moisture in there so they don't dry up, and it will bleach as well. My foam is just below the antler bases. Like I said, if you touch the antler bases, they're gonna bleach. So you're gonna wet the cloths, like I said. Be careful not to pour this on your actual antlers. So do this really carefully. Get a little in the back here too. And we're going to let that sit there for the next 15 minutes. Like I said, I leave it in for about a half hour. See how it turns out. Maybe do more after that. Okay, so I'm going to check on this thing. I think it's been a great amount of time here. It already looks whiter to me. So take this off. I got my hose here to rinse with. Continue to rinse this off here. Get all the bleach off of it. like I said before, I don't like mine super white. If you want to leave it in there longer, it'll turn whiter. Personally, it's preference, right? If you want your super white, leave it in there longer, leave it in there for a day, I don't care. But I like mine a little, not as white as most people. I think the whiter it looks, the cheesier it looks, kind of, and the faker, I guess. Just getting off a little bit of stuff I missed there. There you have it. Do it yourself European skull mount here. Just gonna give you a close-up of it. Not too bad. It's the right amount of white for myself. And like I said before, I will attach photos on how to do the velvet one that I did. But yeah, another one well done. Saved a ton of money doing it this way versus going to a taxidermist. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Straight Shooting Outdoors.